What's up guys, Lifting here. In this video I'm going to tell you a bit about my upcoming build project and what I just started. It is a Necromancer Detonate Dead, and I wanted to try this because Detonate Dead in the recent patch in 3.1 has been pretty much buffed in almost any way. I'm going to read this note here. Detonate Dead now deals spell damage based on the level of the skill gem, in addition to damage based on the corpse's maximum life. The base fire damage dealt by the spell part of the explosion has been significantly increased. The skill now gains additional area of effect radius as it levels, and its base critical strike chance has been increased from 5 to 6%. The cast time has been lowered to 0.6 from 0.8. So like an overall buff to the entire skill, and that made me curious about it because it has such a high base damage that if you manage to scale this, probably it should end up being pretty good. The question is if if it mechanically is going to feel nice, because it is still reliant, as many new skills are, it is reliant as on that secondary function of, in this case, where you have to create some corpses and then you can use the Detonate Dead, right? Or if a monster is killed, you can detonate that, of course. But the way I'm using it right now is that I'm using it with Desecrate and Spell Cascade, the new support gem. And that basically gives me, I think at the current time, it is 10 corpses or something like that. And that leaves me plenty to detonate right now. You can also put it up with Spell Echo and have it cast twice for even more corpses. But it feels like it's not worth it right now. It's kind of fun with Vol Detonate Dead though. So to give you guys a quick overview, the thing that you do now with Detonate Dead, if you want to make sure you are efficient at scaling both the upfront and the corpse explosion, is that you want to make sure that you scale it with fire damage, elemental damage, or you could go critical strike chains. That's a possibility too. So what I'm doing, or area damage. So what I'm doing, I'm picking up area damage nodes, I'm picking up fire damage, and elemental and penetration nodes. Those are super strong for this skill here too. Since I'm not going crits, I will be using elemental overload, so when I occasionally crit, I'll get a huge damage boost to my Detonate Dead. And I'm also picking up quite a lot of life in this skill tree. And as you can see, it has 5,906 life now, but keep in mind that is with pretty much no rare items added into the build yet. I plan on using the Scourge Claw together with the Necromancer Ascendancy. And I want to do that because then I can benefit from the Bone Offering. I can get block capped in both spell and regular block. I can use Spirit Eater. That will give me a few more corpses too when I cast that. Not that important, but minion damage too, together with the Scourge Claw is another way of scaling it. I'll be using it with Commander of Darkness for some resists and cast speed and attack speed, and then I'll pick these two instead of choosing another Ascendancy Keystone, because this will give me minion damage and minion damage. I think that's the most efficient. So the way I'm scaling it is fire damage, area damage, elemental damage, and minion damage once I get the Scourge Claw. I'll also be using a Bone Helmet, of course, and if I can get plus to level of gems in that, that's nice because I can put my offerings in there, but it's not really mandatory. I'll be using a Carcass Jack for more area damage and area of effect. Wind Scream so I can multi-curse, and I'll be using Blasphemy and Feeble on myself, and I'll be using like a self-cast Flammability. I need to get something to drink. One moment. Then I'm gonna use an Eterious Promise so I can get a bit of leech and some extra damage based on the elemental damage we deal. Rumi's Concoction is gonna help us with that block chains. And the Wise Oak for more damage, basically. If I can align the other flasks with it, and the resists of this, of course. But I want to make sure I have a Basalt Flask in here too. And I probably want a Silver Flask just to move around, because I'll be going with a Shield Charge setup when I'm using the Scourge Claw and Fortify, so we have that extra defense. My Detonate Dead setup will be Detonate Dead, Spell Echo, Elemental Focus, Fire Pen, Change to Ignite, and Empower. That would be the optimal setup here in a 6-link. It's a little tricky to scale this type of skill because you are a little restricted in what you can do that will benefit both the spell part of the skill and the explosion. But with this here, this seems to be the optimal that will scale all of it. Chains to Ignite and Elemental Focus, some of you guys may be thinking, you can't ignite if you're using Elemental Focus, and that's absolutely true. The thing is, Chains to Ignite also gives a more fire damage multiplier. So I'm using it strictly for that and not for the Chains to Ignite. If I get the chains, it could be fun to try and test out the ignites, but I'm still a little reserved when it comes to ignites and damage over time in 3.1. I also have a Vault Detonate Dead in a 4-link, or I plan on having that, but I probably won't have room for it late game. I would really like to. It could be really fun. Another potential cool setup could be just going Elementalist instead of the Necromancer, and then having a what's it called? The Spell Echo Staff. I can't remember that right now. As a 6-link for regular Detonate Dead, and then dedicating your other 6-link, your chest, to Vault Detonate Dead, because it is if the monsters are aligned, the packs are big, then it's so much fun to use. Maybe I can show you that later. For my utility setup, I'll be using Blood Rage so I can get some frenzy charges and some attack speed. I'll be using Clarity so I can try and sustain it a little more efficiently. And I'll be using Flesh Offering when I'm just running around clearing for the speed, but Bone Offering most likely for any, like, when it starts to get challenging, so we can get that blockchains up. Flammability, as I said, and Blasphemy and Feeble here. The reason I have disabled it right now is because otherwise it shows as too much mana reserved. I'm not going to have both in the Blasphemy, that's only going to be one of them. And Arctic Armor. Arctic Armor with the buff now is actually pretty powerful. It works very well. Desecrate with the Spell Cascade, potentially Spell Echo, but I'll probably add something else here instead. If this turns out to be successful, I'll turn it into a build guide, but it'll probably require a lot of testing, so I hope I don't die before that in the Hardcore Best League. That's what I wanted to show you guys. This is the project I'm working on right now. Let me know if you've tried something similar below, and thank you for watching, and bros, do you even nerd?